My mother-in-law want to steal my baby from me and trying to ruin our marriage, but it backfired on her. Hi everyone, English is my second language. Please excuse me if I use some words incorrectly. I need to get this off my chest. I'm 8 months pregnant, and I can't stop stressing about my mother-in-law. Since we've announced the pregnancy, she has been a lot. It started when I had my first doctor's appointment. A week after my appointment, we were at her place, and it came up on the subject that I've seen the doctor for the first time. She later told my boyfriend that she felt like we were excluding her from the pregnancy because we didn't tell her right away the same day that I've had seen the doctor. I could see the drama coming from there. She now prepares for the arriving of our baby. At first, my boyfriend was telling me to relax, that she's just excited to be a grandma. But now he is starting to agree with me that it's a little too much. She has a room for our baby in her house, getting baby stuff, telling us how she can't wait to see the baby. It could be cute, but knowing her, it just freaks me out. My boyfriend and her were really close since he moved out when he met me at 25 years old. Trouble started when he moved in with me. Our house was close to her house, so he went back to see her really often at the beginning, like 2 to 3 times a week, which I found was a lot. Then we started to go see her together once a week on the weekends. And then one time we chose to stay home to have a nice couples night. Mother-in-law didn't like it. She threw a tantrum texting my boyfriend that if he didn't care about his family, then he could just stop bothering to come see her, and how hard it's going to be for her to be able to see her grandchild. All of that because we skipped dinner for one weekend. And there's been many other tantrum throwing since. I'm having nightmares about how it's going to be with my baby. She also seems to think her son and I will get separated after the baby is born. Since she has started to prepare the room for the baby, she also started to make a place in the guest bedroom, rushing to clean it and to get a better bed in there. And I can't help but think that this guest room is a bedroom for my boyfriend. Like he's going to move back there with her and they will raise the baby together. Creepy AF. And can't stop making scenarios in my head that she will start to just show up at our place to request to babysit our child whenever she wants, and all the drama there's going to be about it. I need to start doing meditation and not let her get into my head like that. Feels kind of better to let that out. Thanks. Update 1. Hi dear Reddit friends, here's an update on my first post. I'm now 35 weeks pregnant. I had a talk with my mother-in-law about the baby coming really soon and things turned bad quickly. We should have mentioned to her sooner that we didn't want any visitors at the hospital. But everything with her turns into drama, and I didn't know how to bring this up to her. She never talked about wanting to be there with us, so we never talked about that until this weekend. We have 2 dogs, and since she lives nearby and know our dogs well, we agreed that she would take care of our furry companions while at the hospital. And then she added, "Oh, and you guys are gonna call me when you leave for the hospital so I can meet you there." I responded that boyfriend and I didn't wish to have anyone visit us. Boyfriend was further away outside talking with mother-in-law's friends, so I had to be the bad person and tell her that all by myself. She responded with, "Yeah, I'm going to see my grandson at the hospital." I wanted to make myself clear. I thought about the fact that I had to be firm and stand my ground about what I wanted, so I told her that we would inform the nurses that we didn't want any visitors. She then turned silent and went inside without saying a word. She didn't talk to me for the rest of the evening. I foolishly thought that she was upset but was accepting the decision. The next day, my boyfriend had to go back to her place to get some things we had forgot there. I did not want to join him because of the way the night coldly ended. He came back really upset, telling me that his mom asked him if he was on board with my decision, that he told her yes, and she then told him that he could tell me I'm out of her life. He responded by saying that, "Well, you probably aren't going to see your grandson as much as you want," and left. I took some time to think and decided to write her a message saying I understood she was upset, but found it sad that she decides to not be in her grandson's life for that. Because she can't just cut me off of her life and still expect to have a relationship with my child boyfriend's on my side with it. I told her I wasn't mad at her, and if she changed her mind, my door was still open. She replied that she was heartbroken and she just needed to take her distance with me for a while, but that I couldn't take away her time bonding with her grandson. Family is important. I don't have family values, etc., etc. I don't know in what reality she lives in. She's seriously thinking her son will go to her place every Sunday with our baby to spend time with her while I just stay at home alone? Of course my boyfriend's mad at her, and he's sad that the birth of our child brings up so much drama. How can she think she can tell her son that she doesn't want the mother of his child in her life anymore and still expect to keep a good mother and son relationship? I just feel like she was waiting for this. It's not the first time she complained about me to my boyfriend. I think she was waiting for the good excuse to push me aside and have her son all to herself. She's just toxic. And I don't want her in my life either. But I know my partner is used to his mom acting that way, and after all, she's still his mom and he still loves her. So much drama and stress, and our child isn't even born yet. Needless to say, someone else will take care of our dogs and we won't tell her when I get into labor. Update 2. The story at this point is starting to get kind of sad. I think mother-in-law has a mental condition, maybe bipolar. It really is ups and downs. If you've invested, make yourself some popcorn because this update is going to be a long one. I didn't add names in previous updates just in case I get accused of defamation. Let's call mother-in-law Karen. Boyfriend will be George and I'll be Brenda. I feel bad for George. Before we met, he was really close to his mom. He could talk about anything with her. It was really ups and downs, but he was kind of brainwashed that, oh, that's just how my mom is. She gets upset, throws a tantrum, and things go back to normal afterwards. Now he is stuck in the middle of me and mother-in-law war. He's a little throwback in time so you can understand a little more the personality of mother-in-law. Karen and I had a few conversations in the past alone together. About a year ago, she unfriended my boyfriend on Facebook. Yes, mother-in-law, a grown-up lady, unfriended her own son on Facebook because she was upset that he didn't go see her more than once a week and didn't respond fast enough to her texts. And she was heartbroken that he changed his profile picture for a picture that I was in and that apparently I took too much space in the picture. I was holding the phone for the selfie, so of course I was a little bit more close to the phone than George, but Karen was thinking I did it on purpose. So after that, when she unblocked George and started to talk to him again, one evening I was drinking wine with Karen, and I don't remember how we ended up talking about it, but I told Karen that when she acted like that, sending long texts about how George is disappointing her and when she unfriended him on Facebook, it makes him sad, and of course, when this happens, he doesn't really feel like going to see her. I was trying to make her see her behavior was affecting her relationship with her son. Karen's response, my kids know how I am, and if they love me, they will come see me even when I am mad, no matter how I act. That's why I mentioned my boyfriend being brainwashed. His way of thinking was those exact words. In that conversation, she also told me that when she scrolled Facebook and saw in her feed George's new profile picture, her heart stopped and she was in shock to see my face in his picture and that I was taking so much space. All along, our relationship, it went like that. For a few weeks, everything was fine and then boom. A little something happens and Karen feels the need to step away from us because she's heartbroken for some reason. Then a week goes by and she randomly texts my boyfriend, hey, you want to come by for a beer? You alone just for now? I didn't mind that. Yes, I found it odd the first time because it's my third serious relationship, and none of my past mother-in-laws asked my exes to go see them explicitly without me. They had times alone with their mother if I was sick or just felt like staying home, but their mother never demanded that I shall not be there with them. But I can understand wanting to have a private conversation with her son, so I let it happen. Yes, Reddit community, throw me rocks, but I'd rather choose my battles. So forward a few months later when I wrote update 1, tantrum didn't get me or George to change her minds about the no visits at the hospital. A week or two after the, so if that's your decision, tell Brenda she's out of my life moment, Karen invited us to a birthday party for some friends of hers, claiming that I was welcome and she wouldn't act mean with me. George declined the invitation. I didn't really feel like going casually to spend the evening with the woman who did want me out of her life a week before, and boyfriend chose to not leave me alone at home. George was acting like nothing really happened, and when I was mentioning the fact that I was stressed about Karen and delivery, he was telling me that, well, it's his mom. She's over with the fact that she's not allowed to come visit at the hospital. Things are going to be okay. And turns out, things did go okay. I gave birth to a healthy, beautiful baby boy. No mother-in-law trying to show up randomly, but I was so stressed. I'm sure baby showed up 2 days past due date because of all the drama. Watching Charlotte Dobray's videos while pregnant sure didn't help either. If I end up in one of her videos, hi Charlotte. It's in fact my second baby. I also have a little boy from a prior relationship that ended when my son was still just a baby. I think that contributes to the fact that Karen is ready to have a baby and George moving in with her. She probably thinks this relationship will end the same way it ended with the father of my first child, but George is nothing like my ex. I know from the bottom of my heart and soul that we're going to be together for a long, long time. Sorry, Karen. I gave birth stress-free to my first baby at 38 weeks, which is short for a first pregnancy, so I was really expecting baby 2 to arrive before 40 weeks. First baby father's family were so nice, I didn't have to worry about a thing. So when I got pregnant with baby 2, I did not expect all that crap coming up. An ex-mother-in-law didn't accuse me of ruining her relationship with her son or blame me for not knowing her grandson. Bless her. She was a cool mother-in-law. George and I agreed that mother-in-law and sister-in-law, George's sister, let's call her Tiny Karen. They're both the same childish person, and Tiny Karen is so proud to say that she is so close to her mom. They have a fusional relationship, which contributes to George being a big disappointment for Karen. Compared to his sister, she failed on him teaching him family values. Could come visit the day we got back from the hospital after we had time to shower and rest a little. If it were just for me, I would have let them wait a week. But like I said, I choose my battles. Visit was so freaking awkward, for I had not seen Karen nor Tiny Karen, who equally hate my guts since the Brenda shall disappear episode, but it overall went well. I even left the room for half of the hour to unpack our hospital bags, to let them have a moment with the baby and not let them feel like I was watching them or give them another reason to whine to George about, yes, more rocks please. Karen even said to George that they would give us a year of peace and they would understand with a baby of that age not wanting to get out of the house a lot. I don't really know what she meant by a year of peace. That really bothers me. I naively thought Charlotte's Reddit reaction videos got into my head and I was just overstressing it. Things were just fine. We did go visit Karen a week after birth. That went okay. Still awkward, but okay. 2 weeks after birth, we had a barbecue at Karen's house with both sides of George's family together, so everyone could see the baby and be happy, and we don't have to receive people at our house 15 times separately. I left earlier in the evening with my oldest son for his bedtime routine. George stayed later with the baby to spend more time with family members who drove 2 hours to come visit. Apparently, as soon as I was gone, Tiny Karen started ranting to father's side grandmother that she cannot stand my presence from the beginning. Great mother-in-law very nicely took my side and told Tiny Karen that, well, even if you don't like her, she's your brother's significant other. Tiny Karen didn't let her finish, rolled her eyes and ended the conversation. George came back home crying, saying he hates his sister so much and does not want to see her ever again. He always had a problem with her, but the way she acted that day was just too much. The next morning, I receive a text from Karen, surprisingly a positive message, telling me how good I was and thanking me for letting everyone take the baby and having the baby away from me for the whole day. I found that kind of strange, like as she was implying that I was super protective over my baby and usually not letting people hold him, but at least it was a nice text. Forward to the next weekend. Karen sent a text to George to see if we want to go spend the day with her and Tiny Karen. George responded that we had something on my side of the family that day, thanked her for the invite. No response from Karen. I could hear the bomb start ticking. Next day, Karen asked George if she could come by. George tells her if we feel like having someone over, he will text her later. I really wasn't feeling like having her over or go to her place. He was kind of freaking out knowing it would upset his mom. We had a small argument about the fact that I would not live every weekend planning a function for my mother-in-law over the next 18 years. If we want to stay at home sometimes, it's really not a big deal, and she would have to learn to deal with the fact that she will not see us every single week, starting now. That's a battle I was choosing to take. So we spent the day in family, cuddling and taking a nap with our baby. George was expecting backlash from his mom, but we did not hear from her that day. Oh Lord, it was just the calm before the storm. So to keep the count, it's been 3 times she sees her grandson in a 4-week period. But at the barbecue, Karen didn't have the chance to take the baby in her arms for more than precisely 1 minute and 22 seconds. That will be an important information for what's up next. 4 days later, I will translate the text that taking time bomb Karen sent to George. He made me read it, and I asked if I could keep screenshots of them in case of the worst case scenario to have proof of Karen's emotional instability. This update is already so long, it's been like an hour I'm writing this, but this is gold. I was feeling kind of bad to share previous updates on Reddit. I told George about posting it here, and at first he was a little mad about the fact that Reddit users are saying his mom is crazy, but after the Brenda is out of my life thing, he told me I could share update 1. Now after this, I don't care anymore. That woman has no respect for anyone, even her own son. Karen text number 1. 12/2. George is at work and his lunch break ends at 12:30 and she knows it. Hi, I was asking myself a question. Am I going to see my grandson ever again? I saw him 3 times since his birth. Remember here, the baby is 4 weeks old. 3 times, George, there's nothing normal about that. And let's say only 2 times because the last time I only had him in my arms for 1 minute and 22 seconds. You were telling me that I didn't have to worry that as long as Brenda was pregnant, you were feeling bad. Talking about the fact that he was feeling bad to force me to get my belly touched by her. But that once the baby was born, you would put your feet to the ground. If I would trying to not let her see the baby, which I had no intentions to. I sell him over, and all 2 hours since his birth. You want your child to have a grandmother or we forget about the project. It starts to get really annoying to be kept at a distance. George didn't respond since he had 10 minutes left on his break. Karen text number 2. 12:57, so 37 minutes later, while my boyfriend is at work and she knows it. Of course you're online but you don't even look at my message or respond to me. As usual, I don't know what I did to you for you to, from one day to another, decide to cut me off from your life without any effing good reason. But now your attitude is too much hurting for what I can take. You don't want to have anything to do with me anymore? You don't want to have anything to do with your sister anymore? Fine. I will respect your decision, no matter what led you to it. Can we take a moment to acknowledge the fact that George is at work and it's been 37 minutes from the first text? But don't ask me to babysit your dog anymore. Don't come in my house and ask me for anything that you could need anymore. 37 minutes, boyfriend at work. You cannot cut me off of your life and use me when you're in trouble. Enough. I got no relationship or attachment to your child. What kind of relationship do you expect to have with a 1-month-old baby? And I'm afraid it will stay that way. It was a nice dream, but the dream is going to stay a dream. Talking about being a grandmother. I wish you a beautiful life, and I hope you will be happy. Goodbye. George responds at his brack at 3 p.m. I don't feel like talking about this while I'm at work. Karen, text number 3. I don't think there's anything to talk about. I did nothing to deserve this. Deserve what? Cutting yourself out of your son's life on your own in 37 minutes? This I am convinced of. I told you many times about this. You minimize my feelings, rolling your eyes to the sky and continuing acting like you do. Things that will happen again if we talk about it for an 11th time. I'm too much hurt. I'm out of it. You have a nice little family from which you have completely put us aside, your sister and me, for a reason I don't know about. Nothing ever gets fixed. You don't understand that the way you're acting hurts my feelings, and I can't wait any longer that you decide to come to see me and bring me your son literally did 2 weeks before. You will send me news for my grandson once a year at Christmas, and a picture from school in October. For the rest, you did your choice. Literally just didn't text her back while working. I will do mine. I cannot stand crying anymore because of you now. It's more than enough. I'm sorry that we are there now, but you wished for it, you got it. Karen, text number 4. The icing on the cake, 7 p.m. Don't worry, big guy, you won't receive messages from me anymore. Middle finger emoji. I swear to God, the FU emoji was placed there. A grown-up lady sending the middle finger to her son. That's what my boyfriend is dealing with since we're together. This time, he finally agrees that cannot just be it's my mom. She's like that again. She has to learn that her actions have consequences. But sadly, it is his mom. For now, she's gone, but I just know in 2 months from now, things will probably be back to where they were. Eyes rolling upward to the sky. Update. Would I be the a-hole if I ask my partner to choose between me and his mom? I've posted before and read it about my insane mother-in-law. I just can't take it anymore. My partner, 26 male, is in an enmeshed relationship with his mom, and he refuses to cut her off of our lives. We had a baby 2 months ago, and it's been hell with her. It was already difficult before the baby was born, but I, 24 female, was letting him deal on his own with his mother. Now that my baby is involved, I feel it's my business too, and I don't bend. Mother-in-law is used to screaming and crying, and everybody does as she wants. That doesn't work with me, and it causes a lot of friction in my couple. About 4 months ago, when I was still pregnant, mother-in-law told my partner she was cutting me out of her life for not wanting to let her visit us at the hospital after delivery. They had a fight, and partner was on my side, but didn't cut her off. She saw that those tantrums don't work on me, and accepted the no hospital visit rule. When baby was only 1 month old, she told my partner that it wasn't normal she saw the baby only 3 times in 1 month, and that she wasn't going to be his grandma anymore. But of course, when she realized my partner didn't run back to her like a little kid, she started messaging him again just a week after guilt-tripping him about the fact that he is so cruel to her. It's been a month now since we've seen her. She won't stop messaging him, and he refuses to block her. I told him that it was his mom. If he wants her in his life, it's on him, but that I wanted clear boundaries put in place with her. He chickens out to go talk to her alone. He wants me to come talk to her with him, and I feel it is really not my job to set boundaries with his mom, but I told him I would be willing to go see a family therapist. Still, he refuses it. He would rather just go back to visit her like nothing ever happened, because that's what he's used to doing and it's less trouble. I told him that if he likes that crap in his life, it's on him, and he responded, better that than don't have a mom. I couldn't help myself but think, are you 12 years old? Am I mean? I never tried to pressure him to go no contact with her, but now I'm starting to feel betrayed that he let her act like this with me. He told me many times that she was talking behind my back. I feel she is trying to toss me aside, playing the victim, saying that I am so mean to her and that I don't like her, blaming me for screwing up their toxic mother-son relationship. If it was my mother saying those things about him, she would be long gone by now. Reading on enmeshed mothers, I understand it's difficult for him to understand this is toxic. He has good memories about his childhood and feels responsible for his mom's well-being. I know this will break us apart if it continues. I think he's used to being controlled, and he will never make the move if I don't force him to, but that might break us apart too if he blames me later to make him choose between me and his mom. He's not able to set boundaries with her, doesn't want to go to family therapy, does not want to block her, But each freaking time she sends him messages, he tells me he is sick of her and wants it to stop. So he goes in his head and doesn't talk to me for a while, but still does not want to do a thing about it. I'm done. It's screwing our time together. It's messing up our couple, our family. I spend my time wondering when the next fight is going to be. I want her out of our lives. So would I be the a-hole for asking him to choose between me and his mom?